This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we break down one of their records. We get into the music, lyrics, how it was made, and everything in between. And this week we are in Pop Disaster season, where we're doing all the bands from the Pop Disaster tour except for Simple Plan, because who cares about Simple Plan? And I just don't want to do that. So yeah, what are we doing this week, Jeff? Go.
I already said it on the other episode and yelled at me.
But you can say it again.
But now you're being more Pacific, and now I can say it.
Be more Pacific. Yes.
We're doing Clarities by the Jimmy Eat Worlds, or the Jews. As
Jimmy
we
Eat Worlds.
Shorten it up. So
yeah, it's just easier to say Jew.
Calm down there, people.
Calm down there, Kanye. So yeah, if you didn't know, my name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that subscribe button. That's all I have for the boring intro.
That was pretty fucking boring.
Let's get into this.
Let's get into this. Most boring.
Let's get into this. Also, well, actually, let me say this real quick. We've done Clarity on this podcast probably 3 times prior, but every time
really?
we had to get really. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 times. We've done it 3 times prior, but we either get really, really drunk, and it's a mess, or it was so early on in the podcast that it was just amateur hour. I mean, it still kind of is amateur hour, but even more so then. So we just decided to put this one to bed, do it one last time, and that's it. That's all. One last hurrah of Clarity. So,
and what other option did we have? We're doing Pop Disaster. Seems like we should be doing Bleed American, right? But
we just did Bleed American.
So, like, we're not doing Futures because that wasn't out at the time. So, like, Clarity was the next thing. And after this, we're probably not going to do Jew again. So,
yeah, probably not.
Let's do Surviving.
I doubt it. I'm down. Invented, baby, invented.
Psych.
All right, so let's get into our origin story with Jimmy Eat World, and then we'll get into first impressions. So what do you got? Go.
Psych. I remember when this record came out, and I remember
when this.
And when we were at camp, we were talking about camp all the time. Every fucking like we talk about camp all the time. I remember like, oh, hold it up. What we got? Is it a Curse? Hold it up.
Curse Live, baby. Curse Live.
Is it cold as the Rockies? Is it blue?
Fucking, I'm tapping the Rockies tonight, baby.
That's my girl right there. So for me,
it's so disrespectful.
For me, This Is Heaven. That was the first. For me, This Is Heaven. That was like the first song that I heard, because that was everybody at camp trying to learn that song so they could play it at like campfire and stuff like that. And so thus, when I was like trying to learn how to play guitar, and like we were like 12 when this came out. So like this is like one of those things that made me want to play guitar. And they're like, oh yeah, you should do this. And I don't know, here's how you do it, whatever. But like for me, This Is Heaven. That was the first thing that got me into Jimmy Eat World. And I remember like the leaders and CITs and counselors, they were just obsessed with this record. So when Bleed American finally hit, I felt like a sense of camaraderie. You know, you like a band, and like their next record blows up, and you're like, oh, I like that band back when they were the format instead of fun type of thing.
Gatekeeping.
It was gatekeeping, but like, it was gatekeeping. But like, there's a sense of gatekeeping that needs to be like had, right? Not everyone can just like start wearing Nirvana t-shirts and not get asked. Like Jared Deans did it a lot when he'd ask people in line. Guitars for Trivium, just like a gent guy. Funny dude.
Does he play with Trivium now? Was he really?
He was playing with Trivium for a minute. I don't know if he still does.
Oh, no shit.
But he was playing with Trivium for a minute. Great guitarist. I think he's a funny dude.
Yeah.
Just a guy that like enjoys like live music and enjoys performing and just has a good personality. I like him. But he
kind of blew up on YouTube. I mean, that was his bread and butter is YouTube.
Yeah, and you like in order to blow up on YouTube, you have to have a big personality. It's just fucking you in front of the camera, right? So like he would ask people in line wearing like Slayer t-shirts, like, what are your top 3 Slayer songs? Which is kind of like a dick thing to do, but it's also really funny. Like it's gatekeeping on the surface, but at the end, like nobody really cares, bro. Like if you don't know any Slayer songs, I don't care that you're wearing a Slayer shirt, but it's still funny to make fun of you. It's okay to make fun of people. It's fine. It's okay.
100%. Yeah.
So going back to Bleed American, and that blew up, and I was like, oh, dude, I like this because like older guys like told me showed me how to play guitar to these Jimmy Eat World songs or whatever. But anyway, Clarity was an album that came out, and I liked it like as it came out, because the first year I went to camp I was 12. Supposed to be 13. No, sorry. The first year I went to camp was 7. The first year I went to Camp Fox, the Catalina Island one, I was 12. I was supposed to be 13. And so this was a big thing there, and Campfire was just rife with Jimmy Eat World songs. And then it just spiraled out of control from there. But like, I still have fond fucking memories. Dude, like it was yesterday for like 3 of these songs at Campfire, and just the harms. And I know they were terrible too. Like I know for me, This Is Heaven. I know like Just Watch the Fireworks. I know like Lucky Denver Mint. The harms are probably terrible at Campfire, but I remember them being just fucking like, that's what I want to do.
It's so good.
That's what I want to do, dude.
All right. Cool, man. Cool. So that's your origin story. Mine was The Middle. I'd never heard of Clarity. So yeah, that song, I the first time I saw it was the video on MTV, and obviously it stuck out in my mind.
It was wild.
Bunch of young people in their underwear, bunch of girls in their underwear.
Everybody in
It's
their
like,
unmentionables.
oh my god. Yes, exactly. I'm 12 years old and I'm like, oh my god.
It's basically it might as well be porn. Like that's exactly
might as well
what it
be.
was.
Yeah,
Might as well be
exactly,
porn.
exactly. Might as well be porn at that point. So yeah, I mean, just watching that video constantly, and at the time, I was obsessed with recording videos on a VHS tape. So I still have these VHS tapes with full of music videos from back in the day.
In the unorganized garage.
I have a lot of shit. Yeah. so that's my origin story, was The Middle, and then I bought the record. And I listened to it. I listened to it constantly throughout high school. It wasn't until a little bit later that I got into Clarity. But yeah, I mean, I guess that goes into my first impressions of Clarity. I got into this later in high school. You got me into this record. I never cared to go back in their discography. So it was you were the one that kind of got me into Clarity. Like, you got to listen to this.
Yes.
I think you burned me I got a burned copy from somewhere of Clarity, and that's how I got into this record specifically. But so yeah, origin story. That's my first impression. Also, Clarity is fucking great. So I'm saying that right now. It's fucking incredible. So
I've heard better.
do you have? So let's get into some. Do we have any stinkers on this record?
No.
No, I agree. No, absolutely no stinkers. I have 13 bangers. I don't give a fuck. Do you got how many bangers you got?
I have, if we're being honest, I have 12 bangers, and I have one song that is like my least favorite song. But like, I still really, really like it, and there's parts of it that I fucking love. But like, I do have one song that like I listed as 13 bangers. But if we're being real, my least favorite song, it's still really good though. I don't know.
So, and we're not including Christmas Card. We're not getting into that. We're not getting into the Sweetness demo.
Not the time.
So just the
too much to do.
Way too much to do. So I'm curious, what is your least favorite song?
Believe in what you want. Believe what you want. That's my
number
favorite.
10. That's my 10B.
Okay. for a second, I thought you said that's my number 1. Oh, that would have been crazy.
no.
That would have been
No.
that would have been some fucking fighting words. That's okay. Yeah, that's just.
I mean, we don't have to get into it.
That's just my least. Like it's this is holding on to like the Static Prevail sound. It's a great song, and we do need like easier rock songs like in the front half of the record. I think it holds a place there, but like I do think this is the most basic song on the entire record. Like,
yeah,
but like we get some rad fucking parts, see the back and forth in the pre-chorus, the strange little like aggro guitar lead that's building, and like the subtle harms that we get.
Also, like, I mean, it has this the whole staccato kind of guitar thing to it. The bam 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 bam. It's just very it's kind of basic. It's a little bit basic, but then it opens up quite a bit in the choruses. It has kind of that screechy lead guitar line, which is cool. But it's definitely lower tier.
It's pressed up against a Sunday, and it's coming off of like the first 3 songs, and like you have to have something here to calm down. I get it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Lower tier for me. That's fine though.
Good.
So let's get into our biggest bangers. What's your 1B? What's your number 1 banger? What do you got? Go.
This is strictly for like nostalgia. This is because I guess I'm a simp for this, but like for me, This Is Heaven. That's my 1B.
That's crazy.
Like not even like it wasn't even a question. It wasn't even
so
like
stupid.
Through and through.
I mean, this has to be strictly nostalgia for you, because there's no way anybody would rank that number 1.
Oh, hold on there, dude, because like there's a lot of great parts to this outro here when we get both. And also like the last part of the chorus, can you still feel the butterflies? Damn, that's so good.
I mean, this song is really incredible. I don't have anything bad to say about it, but to me, this is my least favorite song on the whole record. Yeah, choke on spit take, baby.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's this is my least favorite, and I like you. I don't, or not like you. I don't have the nostalgia for it.
This is the song that got me into Jimmy Eat World. Like it wasn't like the middle. It wasn't like Pain. Like it was this song, and it wasn't even this song. It was watching people perform like a shitty acoustic, And like when I talk about going to camp, right? Like I always talk about like my counselors, bro. They were like 3 years older than me. So when I'm like 13, 12, they're like 15 and 16, right? They're not like that much older. It was all like young people, like hanging out with younger people, not like a weird way. It was camp, right? Like it sounds weird now. That like sucks that it sounds weird now. Like fuck this society.
Yeah, I know, really. I mean, because it wasn't like that at all when we were at camp.
Yeah, man.
It was just like it was all like camaraderie and like fun and yeah.
So it's like me as like a 12-year-old watching like a 16-year-old play guitar, and I thought they were great. I thought they were just they may as well have been fucking Eddie Van Halen. But like if I went there now as like a fly on the wall, I'd probably be like, damn, you play like shit, dude. But like that's what it was. So for me, This Is Heaven. I heard this song acoustically live before I knew it was Jimmy Eat World, and then listened to it as Jimmy Eat World. Like, oh shit, that's what they were singing. I get it. And then watch it again, like watching the harms, especially in that outro part when like one person's yelling and they're trying to like be in sync with it and they'll play the guitar at the same time as like a 15, 16-year-old, not a prodigy here. So it's, I don't know, dude. I have very, very, very strong feels, and it relates to camp. And like Toy Pash relates to camp. Clarity relates to camp. They will like never not be just, I don't know, extreme feels with those. That's why this is number one.
All right. I mean, I think this is, if anything, this is a filler song. It sounds a lot of like what they were already doing on every other part of this record. I don't think there's anything that really sets it apart from the rest of the record outside of like a solid fucking bass line.
There's crazy things here. There's 3-layered guitars. There's a lot of cool percussive parts
and
here.
that's all over the record. That's my point.
Three,
it's all
though.
over the
not
record.
3-layered guitars in one part. They do a lot of two guitars over one part, but
two
not
guitars
three.
and then a synth. So you're just replacing the synth with
there are
another
3 guitars
here.
here.
That's all you're doing. That's
only
all
2
you're
guitar
doing.
players here. Like, what are they going to do? And they add all these like willy-nilly fucking percussive parts.
They don't
What are
have
they fucking doing here?
They don't have a synth player.
What are they doing
here?
here?
It's a good song. I'm not saying it's a bad song. It's just, God, you got to put it somewhere. And I think this is just a filler banger. A filler banger. That's what it is.
Like I love the progression of this song. Like the choruses just get better as we get farther into this song until we get to that outro, which is just like, top 3 parts of this record for me.
Also, this band on this record, they're incredible with the build-ups. Build-ups in the verses, into the choruses, and then just the way that they're able to transition in between the different parts and songs. They absolutely fucking nail it on this record. It's truly incredible. Truly incredible. But I was a little disappointed with the lyrics, though, on this album. Jim, it's just like, I feel like it's just a placeholder, man. There's no...
He's not.
There's a couple cool things that he, like, little things here and there, but overall, I think a lot of it is just very ambiguous and very open to interpretation, and which is cool too. But I don't think it was.
They're good placeholders though. Like we talk about placeholders sometimes. It's like, that's just like you're just saying words here. I think what he's saying matches the aesthetic of the song, and I think what he's saying means something to him as it pertains to like the art he is trying to convey with the music in the song, but they don't mean much. And he's always been very ambiguous in the way he talks about his lyrics, because they don't really mean anything. And like words are like bullets, right? Words are like bullets. And I think that's just how he writes songs. They mean something musically, and they create a space, but you don't need to listen to the words to hear like the overall song, I guess. Like the sum of its parts are more than its end of what the fuck that means. I said it like 15 times on the pod. I never can get that quote right.
All right.
Fuck that quote. That quote's stupid.
Okay, so for me, This Is Heaven. You got anything else on this one?
And like the back and forth and like this break too. Like this is
cool.
This is what Get It Faster. This is like this, as they say, this walked so Get It Faster could run. That is what happened here. And then we also get the dueling piano part.
That's getting close to me on the no-no list.
It transitioned from like dueling guitars to like dueling piano guitars to dueling pianos. Like that's just wild. Like what are we doing here? And like we'll get into the whole thing of like these guys thought this is the last thing they're ever gonna do. We're after this record is done, we're not abandoned anymore. So fuck it. Let's go out with a bang. Let's do whatever the fuck we want. Let's make our wildest dreams come true. And I think for me, This Is Heaven, outside of like Sky Harbor, is like the perfect example of them just doing whatever the fuck they want to do. Because fuck it, dude. Why not,
dude? Because why not? Yeah,
they gave us money. We have to pay it back anyway. Fuck it. We're already here. Oh,
it's good, man.
what
it's
a
good.
banger, dude. Oh, dude, I got the feels right now. What a fucking banger.
All right, so that's your number one.
That's my number one.
My number 13.
That's my number 14.
That's crazy. This might be like the biggest difference in all of our ratings here. You know what I mean? Like where you think it's the best song, I think it's the worst song on the record.
I mean, this is
I like it though.
because this
like
is for some of these records, like these are like highly, highly nostalgic records that we are setting aside like objectivity and really like leaning into like what this means personally, right? Like this is purely subjective on like the most basic of all senses. Or like when we did Queens and stuff like that, like it's, you know, I don't know. Like for me, like Clarity holds so much more like water and weight to me than like any other band that we do outside of like the big 3 or 4 that we do.
I would agree. Yeah, I think this record is way more nuanced than your Queens of the Stone Age and shit like that. This record is just, it's something truly special, truly unique. There's nothing that sounds like Clarity. I mean, you could make the argument with Queens as well, Queens of the Stone Age, but Clarity and this era of the band, this and Bleed American, there's just incredible fucking musicianship, songwriting. It's special. It's special.
I know, like the email existed already, like, you know, the promise ring fucking slayed, the anniversary slayed. Arguably, like, I don't know, even like American football, like brought something to the table, and everybody was doing something. The Get Up Kids were doing stuff before this. But this is just like a last ditch effort, like from a band that just had nothing to fucking lose.
Well, yeah, I mean, I mean, we could touch upon that right now. They got signed to Capitol Records with Static Prevails. That album pretty much flopped. Like it was a giant flop
For sure. For Capitol, it absolutely flopped.
Yeah, and they were, and the label just kind of forgot about them. They're like, you know, yeah, well, you can make another record. Here's X amount of dollars, and they never checked in on them. They got Mark Trombino to come back to produce the record, and they fucking experimented. They did whatever the fuck they wanted. They turned it in, and this record flopped too. Clarity flopped too, and it was to the point where when they went to go do Bleed American, they had no money left. They had nothing left. And Trombino was like, I'll work for free. I think the songs are here. The album's here. I'll work for free and you guys just pay me back when the album blows up. And sure as shit, that fucking album did blow up. But yeah, I mean, this just, to have their first 3 records just absolutely flop is crazy. And they kept going. They kept fucking going.
I think and people, I mean, I don't know. Capitol Records at the time didn't have like the infrastructure to build a band. That's not what Capitol Records was about. It was more like, how can we move 5,000 units a week? How can we move 10,000 units like a week, right? Not 50 a week. Like they don't give a fuck about developing bands. That's not what Capitol Records existed for. So when they signed Jimmy Eat World, like they're a band that needed to be developed, that needed help, like help promotion and touring and billing and booking bands and just like they needed help. And that's not what Capitol Records was for. So that was
like throw as much on the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Whatever doesn't, just cut it.
Just write it off. And this was one that like may not have ever been released. And Clarity owes a lot to K-Rock. And K-Rock.
Oh yeah, 100%.
K-Rock helped so many fucking bands. And like that era of K-Rock in the 90s, 2000s was amazing. It was awesome. Yeah. But they owe a lot to K-Rock. And if it wasn't,
if you got your fucking song played on K-Rock, you're
you're
gonna tour well. You're gonna make money. You know, you're set, man. Because K-Rock at that time, even in Mark's book, he talks about that. He said if you get played on K-Rock, every other station in America is gonna follow suit
for sure.
Like if LA, or he meant specifically K-Rock in LA.
Yeah.
If K-Rock in LA played it, every station in the US is gonna play it too, because everybody follows suit with LA K-Rock. But yeah, it's
cutting
crazy,
edge,
man.
leading. Absolutely.
Yeah.
K-Rock fucking slayed.
It was. I mean,
that was like the height of that was the height of fucking radio, right? Like 90s, early 2000s radio. Like that was the height of fucking like alternative rock punk radio.
Yeah,
Never,
metal too. I mean, they played a lot of metal. I mean, think about it, a lot of new metal, a lot of grunge. They
yeah,
were still playing. I mean, K Rock was pretty. It was all rock related, but it was still pretty diverse. You know, from your Bad Religion to Blink to Korn to Limp
Limp
Bizkit
Bizkit.
to Nirvana to Soundgarden. You know, it was everything rock, '90s rock. K Rock played, no matter what it was, unless it was like death metal, which obviously they didn't play. But overall, they played just about everything. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, K Rock nowadays, over the last 10 years, is not even. It pales in comparison. Which
That's just
terrestrial radio in general sucks
yeah.
anyway.
That's
now,
radio. That's radio itself. It's just we're not a society that listens to
dying.
the radio anymore.
Yeah.
Like podcasts at best is like the thing that compares to radio, which is kind of funny because like people made fun of podcasts during the height of the radio era, in that era, right in the 90s, 2000s,
Yeah,
and now podcast is what has taken over radio.
I know. It's crazy, right?
Good though, good.
We-
Tired of
Good,
commercials.
yeah.
Tired of commercials. Tired of hearing
God, so
fucking.
much-
Tired of hearing bad fish every hour on the hour.
Yes, I know. Hate that's the worst Sublime song, hands down. Hate that song. Also, it's like AM radio too, like KFI, the biggest talk station in Southern California. They're having a hard time staying afloat. You know what I mean? These guys are like, they are the biggest station, and they're barely making it by. And you listen to them, and it's like, dude, seriously, 28 minutes of commercials. And
Yeah,
32
it's
minutes
ridiculous.
32 minutes of actual content.
It's ridiculous.
And it's like, I get it. Like, I get it if you're a host and it's like doing a 4-hour show, doing 2 hours every single or 5 days a week. That is a lot. I get that. I totally understand. That's a lot of work. But goddamn,
On
as
your
a
own.
listener, on your own. Yeah, because a lot of these guys don't have like a co-host.
Joe Rogan
So
does
that's
it,
fucking
but
tough.
he's a guest, right? Like he has someone
Yeah,
on.
yeah. But yeah, I get that. But even still, as a listener, listening to 28 minutes of commercials an hour, just like, I'll fucking listen to a podcast. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'd rather listen to a bunch of podcasts than listen to terrestrial AM radio.
We're so
But,
far removed from like just good radio. It's never going to be a thing again unless the world ends.
No.
Unless we get to like a Fallout kind of existence. It's never going
Yeah.
to be a thing again. But Jew owes a lot, if not everything, to K Rock because this record may not have ever seen the light of day if K Rock didn't pick up Lucky Denver Mint and subsequently like Never Been Kissed, the movie. And Drew Barrymore, dude, she was hot stuff. Like this is after Wedding Singer. This is after
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Scream, right? Because everybody saw her in Scream. Like, who the
Was
fuck
it
is
after
that
Scream?
girl? Well, Scream was first, and then Wedding Singer, and then Never Been
was,
Kissed.
okay.
Yeah, and Scream, like she was in the opening of Scream, and I was like, who the fuck is that? She did amazing, and then whatever. But yeah, this is after Wedding Singer, so like Drew Barrymore's hot stuff, and like to have your movie or to have your song in a movie like this, like a blockbuster hit, that's going to be winning Oscars and stuff. But it's a big deal for a band that is
a lot of
on its
people watch
last
it.
leg, that is sleeping on floors in their manager's office because they are trying to save as much money as possible to waste it, to blow it all in the studio. As far as studio is concerned, right? Like we talk about like tones all the time, but like in Van Nuys, like the sound, what is it, Sound City.
Sound City.
Like they are like renowned for having like arguably like the best drum tones of any studio in America. And we're
It's gone
talking
now,
like
yeah.
Fleetwood
The original
Mac to
place
like
is gone.
Neil Young to fucking Queens. Like everybody records like their drums there because it sounds amazing. And dude, the drums on this sound fucking
Oh,
amazing.
fuck, I know, right?
Sound
just
amazing.
I mean, I praised how good the tone sounded on Static Prevails, and it really does for that kind of sound, that kind of style of music. But to go from that to Clarity, which is so much more subdued, and to get equally as good but still different tones for this record, Trombino
Slayed.
absolutely fucking killed it. Like, God, just such an underrated producer. He really is. I mean, these Jimmy Eat World records, Blink's Dude Ranch. I can't think of what else he's done, but the guy. I mean, just those 4 records right there are truly fucking incredible. Truly incredible.
That was definitely like during like his like heyday, right? Like everything past.
He also had nothing to lose. He
Yeah.
had nothing to lose.
For sure.
He wasn't popular at the time. Yeah, he was in Drive Like Jehu, but outside of like the local scene or like the punk scene, nobody knew who they were. It's just he was just another kind of random guy that who was looked up to by other people in that scene. But otherwise, he wasn't known mainstream. So
damn, I mean, the guy like just some amazing fucking like emo records, right? Like he produced like Finch's "What It Is to Burn,"
he did.
and
That's right. He did do that record.
I mean, I love that record. It's so dumb.
I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but I appreciate what it did for the scene. And yeah, man. I mean, honestly, late 90s, early 2000s production on a lot of rock records was fucking incredible. Like, they were just, like, producers were just killing it in that era. And, like, that 95 to, like, 2003, 2002, 2003. And just killing it in the studio.
And I think there is something to be said about like bands that are actively wanting to like record to tape, right? Because like Clarity, Bleed American, Static Prevails, these are recorded to tape. These are analog records, and they're learning. They don't really know what they're doing, as we see with like Sky Harbor, but they're like, I want to use all of that. And Mark's like, what do you mean all of that? He's, I want to use the whole fucking roll. Like, set it up so we use the entire fucking roll. And he's like, why? He's like, because why not, dude? We can. Fuck it. We're already here. Just do it. And I like that. I like that like hands-on approach to like recording your music, because when you record a tape, it's a lot more meticulous and it's a lot more like, you can't really fuck this up, dude. We don't just like keep going back to like, because Jimmy Roll was so used to going back to the beginning and recording the whole thing again, as they can like cut up the tape if they wanted to, but that's not what they wanted to do, and now they're reused to.
Also, you have to have an engineer with you that knows how to cut tape and cut tape well. Like that. I mean, from the 60s, I mean 50s and onward up until the 90s, having an engineer who can cut tape was truly a true talent. Like you always, that's why like a lot of producers and engineers work with like for decades, a lot of producers and engineers worked with each other exclusively, because they knew what they wanted. They knew that the producer knew the engineer knew how to cut tape, and then the engineer knew that the producer knew how to get certain tones, so he wasn't wasting their time. It's just like, it was this good like not symbiotic, but this good relationship that these guys had, or these people had. And I mean, it's a lost art. I mean, I'm sure people still know how to cut tape, but I mean, it's not necessary in the age of Pro Tools.
It's damn near a lost art for sure.
And in the mid late 90s, Pro Tools was so new. I think it came out in 92, if I'm not mistaken. And this record was recorded in 97, I think, or 98, 97, right? 97.
Started,
recorded
like the
97.
demo session started in 97.
Yeah, so it's like Pro Tools was so new, and I can almost guarantee you, a guy like Mark Trombino, who has done recorded to tape his whole life, he's not going to fuck with Pro Tools. I mean, nobody had computers nobody had the budget to have a computer at that point. You know, Pro Tools was like, if you were making like $1 million record, then yeah, you had a computer in the studio and all that shit. But no, at this point, everything was cut to tape or recorded to tape. Yeah.
And there's, I mean, that I think that there's something to be said about bands that wanted to still do that, because it shows on this record. And I think this record is also unique in that they legit thought that they were done after this. There was nothing left to lose. They left it all on the table. Like, I don't know. It's like watching a good sporting match, right? Like a good sporting match where like one team just gives it its all. And like, even if they win or lose, like, damn, dude, that was just a good performance. Like, you slayed, dude. That's Clarity. Gave it their all.
And they did tour on this record a lot. But it just didn't.
They toured hard.
They toured hard, and they did sell quite a lot of records, but not enough for a major label band. Just not enough for a major labal band, and that's why it was considered such a flop. Yeah, not Capitol, but they still did sell quite a lot. But yeah, to your point too, where this is the last ditch effort, they did whatever they wanted. They knew this is that's it. That's all kind of for them. And after this tour, they all got day jobs. You know, I think Tom worked at an art store. Zach worked as like a used car salesman. You know, it's just like they all had normal fucking jobs. So, and then we talked briefly about Bleed American, how that was recorded, but yeah, Clarity was just do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Also in Mark's book, he does talk about how, this has to do more with Static Prevails, but they were playing a show. Blink was playing a show in Phoenix in like 95 or 96. And that was the first time they ever met Jimmy Eat World. And they were so impressed by Jimmy. We're like, you guys got a record? And like, well, we don't. It's not out yet, but it's Static Prevails. Here it is. And Jim gave Mark a copy of Static Prevails. And Mark said that whole rest of the tour, they listened to that like on loop. They listened to Static Prevails, and that's the reason why they got Mark Trombino to do Dude Ranch, was because of Static Prevails.
I feel like
it wasn't
I've heard
because
that
of
story
Clarity
before.
But everybody always says it was because of Clarity. That's why they got Mark Trombino to do Dude Ranch, but it was actually Static Prevails.
Clarity was like Mark's like setup to like the spike of Clarity. Like, or
wait, what?
Static Prevails was like Mark's setup to the Clarity, because Static Prevails does sound amazing, but the songwriting's not quite there. Mm-hmm. But it sounds great. Fuck yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude, for sure, bro.
For sure, bro.
All right, so let's get back into some of the songs. We got into your 1B. My 1B, my number one banger, favorite song on the record. One of my favorite songs from this band, Goodbye Sky Harbor, the closer.
That's your 1B?
This is my 1B. I've always, the moment I heard this song in high school, the moment I heard this song, I instantly loved it. I love just how swingy the whole song is. There's not really like a solid groove, but it just kind of like swings back and forth for almost 16 and a half minutes. It just swings back and forth. And it's one of the heaviest songs they've ever put out. That riff, just the main riff right there. I don't even know how to try to sing it, but the main riff itself is so heavy, kind of stoner rockish. And then it opens up into this like huge kind of chorus, but with so little instruments. Like the Zach on the drums opens up a little bit. Instead of doing the hi-hats, he goes and opens up with the ride, just really kind of just keeping that beat going. There's some synth, acoustic guitar, and it's a beautiful song. It's a truly beautiful song. And then the fucking 11-minute loop, I love it. I love that 11-minute loop. It's like hypnotic. It's fucking hypnotic. Yeah.
This song is wild. Like where this song starts and where this song ends up is prog shit. It's crazy. And again, this is their song where they're like, you know what? Fuck it, dude. We're never going to be able to do this again. This is our last ditch effort. We're not going to be a band. We're going to have to go back to our normal lives. Let's just use all of the money that we have. What's that tape? Let's use all of the tape. And they had to like set the tape up in a certain way, which I don't even fucking understand that. But to record the whole thing, because it was so fucking long, and they used the whole thing in one take, and it was a big thing, and then they went up later on and cut it up. But anyway, they had Zach like play to a slow loop of this, like a slow loop of the main part, and they sped his part up again in the second chorus, and then onward to get a higher pitched drum sound. And then Trombino also slowed down the loop gradually, so we get like two different pitches of drum loops. And like the last part that sounds electronic is just the high parts cut up and pasted back onto like the tape to give it like this electronic feel. And like that's dumb, dude. That's meticulous and dumb. I'm like, why would you do this?
It works.
Right?
It works.
But I know, but like, that's crazy. Like, why would you like that? I mean, that's just like Trombino, like through and through, right? Like, why put this much effort into a band that doesn't even think they're going to make it out of this alive? Like, that's crazy.
Because the dude saw something in this band. And why work for free? Why work for free when you do Bleed American? It's like, man, you're on your third record with this band. And failure after failure, but you still have this trust in this band. It's incredible. I mean, obviously, it's paid off in the end because now, I mean, that trifecta of those three records is truly incredible. But yeah, man, in the end, Goodbye Sky Harbor. I love it. Also, some great like back and forth vocals and harmonies back and forth as well. It's just there's a lot of cool shit on this song. Really atmospheric at moments too, and just going from the heaviness to the almost atmospheric stuff. It's just a truly incredible song. There's nothing that sounds like it on any of their records
ever.
It's both equally heavy and atmospheric at the same time.
This is my 6B, and I mean, I don't know, everything, all my 12 Bs except for the 113 are perfect songs, and I like this song especially because it's not something wild or crazy or groundbreaking or nothing we haven't heard of before. And this isn't like pushing emo to like a different like echelon. And like, we can talk about like the emo scape of like Rites of Spring to like Sunny Day Real Estate to like now. Like, this isn't something that like broke the mold and everyone was like, holy fuck, I can't believe it. But it kind of was. It's a super, super honest track written by like guys that had nothing left to lose. I think this really showcases like their individual personalities and their creativity, but also like they're startings, like they're punker kids, and they started like a punk band, and it shows here because they just like to jam. They like to jam, and that's what they're doing here. But it's more like of a nerdy jam. This is more like like an American football, Captain Jazz, like Midwestern emo kind of jam, but in an honest way, an honest kind of dumbed down, lackadaisical way.
Yeah, lackadaisical. That's a good way to describe this song, or really this whole record. This whole record has the whole lackadaisical feel to it. I like it. Lyrically, I mean, they've said that it's based off of a novel called A Prayer for Owen Meany. I guess Zach Lynn was reading this at the time, and some guy named John Irving. I don't know much about him. I read the kind of synopsis of this book. It sounded really boring. It actually sounded really fucking boring.
Sound really fucking boring.
It sounded so boring. Maybe the book is actually good, but damn, it sounded fucking dull and boring. But in the end, I think the lyrics are it's just about not being afraid of what may come in the future and how you have the power to change things. That's what I think the song is about. But who knows? I didn't write the song.
Again, like Jim writes most, if not all, the lyrics, and he's never been super forthcoming about it. And I think it's because they don't mean anything. They don't mean anything.
He talks about it on other songs. He talks about, it was inspired by this, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
There's a song on this record that's about it.
And there's nothing wrong with like being inspired by something and writing a song that has nothing to do with what the fuck you were inspired by. It's fine.
And I like the honesty. Like he just comes out and says, it means nothing. So
nothing. I will have nothing.
Also, when you think about it too, Jim joined this band as a guitar player. He didn't join this band as a vocalist, as a lyricist. That was Tom's thing. And then by the time Clarity comes in, Jim sings every song but Blister. That's the only song that Tom sings on this record. So there you go. Why are you laughing?
The song's so good. Blister's so good.
It is fucking good. It's so good.
It's like fucking hell.
So let's get into. Do we have to do P break or do we? All right, let's get into your number 2 banger. Your 2B. What do you got? Go.
See there, I also sounded like I slurred it, but I knew what I was saying. You knew what I was saying, but I did think I slurred pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then you're I. That's what it sounded like I said in my mind.
Like an idiot pirate.
Lucky Denver Mint is my 2B.
Okay. Lucky Denver Mint. That's a good song. It's a good song. What?
This better be
This better.
This has to be top 5.
4B.
Okay, yeah, that's something silly. What the fuck do you have? You probably have Blister, a Sunday, and then like probably Crush. No, or your new aesthetic.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. We will see.
Basic bitch.
So 4. Let's get Lucky Denver Mint. Let's get into this. What do you got?
Yeah. So this song, I sent you some links. I don't know if you listened to them or investigated, or honestly, I don't even know if I fucking sent them to you. But this song was released on an EP before Clarity was released. Did I send you this link?
I don't think you sent me the link to the EP, no.
Okay, so this song was released on an EP before Clarity was released. Clarity was finished and ready to go, but didn't have a release date, so they released an EP through Fueled by Ramen. And K-Rock had picked up this one, picked up this song, and then thus gave Clarity a firm release date because this was the time that the band thought that the record would not get a release date. It was just going to just not exist anymore. But because K-Rock, it got a firm release date now because K-Rock was God at this time.
It was.
And again, like it's not, I don't blame like Capitol Records for this because they just don't, they're not set up for a band like this. So it's not necessarily their fault. They're not a developmental label, right? Not like Fueled by Ramen. But anyway, I think this is a perfect sequencing from Table for Glasses. We get like a fun swing in the rhythm section with like lead guitars that are more kind of like straightforward hard rock kind of Static Reveals era. And they're recording 2 different drum parts here. And that's ambitious, dude. And they're not doing it. They're not doing it because their drummer's amazing. They're doing it because
Zach is a good drummer. He's a really great drummer.
He's a good drummer. He's not a great drummer, but he's a really, really good drummer for sure. But they're not recording 2 drum parts because he's a great drummer. They're recording 2 drum parts because they have money and they say, fuck it, do whatever the fuck we want to do. And that's cool. I'm for it, man. And that's punk as fuck. I like it. Very ambitious.
Yeah.
Very demure.
I like the drum parts here. I think there's busy moments. There's great transitions, great fills. especially into that big chorus. I love that transition into the chorus.
And we started off with an incredible drum with that.
Yeah. I love it. It's not the hardest thing to play, but it's not the most basic thing either. It's fucking killer. And honestly, it's the same kind of chord progression through the whole record. It's just when you hit the chorus, it just gets bigger and more grand. And
Exactly.
it's just a bigger production in the end when it hits the chorus. But it's fucking good, man.
And that's
I fucking
something.
love the song.
That's something
And
that
the
I've
vocal
complained
melody
about.
is incredible.
That's something I've complained about, like throughout their entire discography. Is like they make everything sound so big, but like there's nothing there. Here they make it sound big, and there's something there. There's layers. There's a cool bass line. There's like harms that they don't really do anymore after this. I don't like.
No, they don't.
Bleed American didn't have as aggressive
And honestly,
harms as this.
honestly, better melodies too. I think the melodies are just better. They're not. I don't know. I feel like
They never made
later
a big
records are
song
more
anymore.
fussed over.
Like they
That's
became
true.
they became an arena rock band without having like an arena rock sound. And I don't
They're
understand
an
it.
indie band. I mean, after Futures and really Chase This Light too, they were an indie band. They ditched a lot of the pop rock, a lot of the power pop, became a more straightforward indie rock band, which it worked for them.
But like
Maybe
Foo
not as
Fighters are like an
successfully, but-
arena rock, alt rock band, and they write big fucking songs. They're empty as fuck, but they write big songs. Jimmy Eat World just could never do it. But yeah, Lucky Denver admit. Did you watch the video?
I meant to, but I forgot to.
Yeah,
do
the
it.
video's stupid. Don't worry about it. But like a good point of the video is directed by Darren Doan, the same guy who did like Josie, Damn It, M&M's. He directed stuff from UL and DHC, Unwritten Law, and Dance Hall Crashers. That was it.
Okay.
My girlfriend.
Actually, Mark talks about those videos too, specifically in his book too, about the M&M's video, Josie video, and stuff, and good stuff. I think he did Damn It as well, right? I think he did Damn It.
Yeah, he did Josie, Damn It, M&M's.
M&M's, yeah. Both versions of M&M's too.
Honestly, those videos aren't very good. Like they're not. They hold like a place
Josie
in our
was good.
hearts. No, it wasn't
Josie
good.
was like a good like
not-
90s video.
They're not
It was a
good
good
videos.
90s video.
90s had a lot
Come
of good
on, man.
videos. Like we're talking like, come on, get the fuck out. No,
You can't compare it
I'm not
to
even-
Beastie Boys.
I was
I know
just
you
gonna say-
compared to
I was
Beastie Boys.
just gonna say it
You compare every music video to Beastie Boys.
because it's the best. Intergalactic.
I know,
is
it
the
is.
best music
It
video
is.
of all time.
Well, Sabotage
It's
is a better
fucking-
video.
No, dude, Intergalactic
Sabotage
is
is a
better
better
than
video.
Sabotage.
No, Sabotage is a better video.
And we're talking like we're arguing over the top 2 videos of all time. Essentially, is what's happening here.
And Sabotage is a better video.
God damn, those are such
It
good
is.
videos. But no,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. Okay.
You can't compare a Blink video from 97 to fucking any Beastie Boys video. That's just silly.
They're all
So.
4 albums deep or whatever it is, so that's fine.
Beastie Boys also had a lot more money. They were huge. They were fucking huge. Lucky Denver Mint, but it's about wanting to be successful, but you have your doubts. You wish and hope that you're going to be heard, and you just kind of get out there and just work your fucking ass off. That's what this is about. Like, it's not just all about luck. You want it to be about luck, but it's you got to put the work in. That's what the song's about, to me, at least.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, this was inspired because supposedly there was a night of gambling, and Jim. Everybody went out drinking, and Jim wasn't old enough to drink, so he just gambled, which is weird because where are you going to gamble and not drink if you're not old enough? And he lost all his money.
Indian casino, baby.
That's racist. I don't know. You can't gamble at 18 out here. Maybe like back in the 90s. I guess
In
you could.
California, you can. And Morongo.
They're not fucking from California. They're from out here. So everything.
I know,
like,
but it was probably the same. Indian casinos are probably the same in Arizona as they are in California.
I've been to all the Indian casinos in this area. You
And
can't.
they're 21 and over?
Yeah.
Maybe not back then. Maybe not back
Maybe
then.
not back in the 40s. But anyway, this is about him losing all his money and subsequently walking around in contemplative thought. That's what he said.
Okay. All right. So, Lucky Denver Mint, that's your number one.
I just want to say, like, we listened to,
me.
we listened to the podcast with Jim on it. Like,
Oh, yeah,
my
let's talk
God,
about that.
dude. First of all, like,
I didn't get through it. So
I didn't either.
Actually, what you're talking about is Jim Atkins did I guess it was a podcast, but
was
breaking
weird.
down every single song from this record, and then the song would play.
the whole song.
The whole song, yeah, which is fine, whatever, because you could skip that.
But I couldn't
But
skip it.
god damn, man, yeah, you could.
No, on Spotify, the little 15-second like loop-de-loop, it
Yeah,
disappeared during the song. So I had to like drag the bar over to skip the song.
no, because you could just click the song on Spotify, or the song, or the part where they're talking. You could do that. That's what I did.
Oh,
That's what I did.
I don't do that. I don't know you could do that. I don't know you
But
could,
anyway,
I don't know you could
anyway,
skip these.
I got through like half the record with the commentary, and I'm just like, dude, I hate to say it, but Jim is just a boring dude. Like he didn't add anything to really the making of the songs that wasn't already known, and just nothing that was really that interesting. And maybe it was like not the most interesting thing recording this record. I don't know, but he just has this attitude about him. He has a bad attitude.
He's
Jim has
always had
bad
a chip
attitude.
on his shoulder. I don't
Yeah,
blame him. I
always.
don't blame him. The Arizona music scene sucks, dude. It's just even like now, there's not a lot out here. The culture is just non-existent. I mean, the community for I mean, a vinyl store, record store, I do see some part of the community. It's just non-existent. There's nothing here. There's no history here. Nobody fucking cares. Like the biggest names from this area, right? Like Stevie Nicks, when she was old enough, she packed up and got the fuck out. Like Linda Ronstadt,
Yeah.
like, okay, that was cool fucking 40 years ago. Whatever. But like the music scene is just non existent. So the biggest name from this area is either Gin Blossoms or Jimmy Eat World. That's
Which
not
is crazy.
that's not something to write home about, Get Up Kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I do think that if Jimmy Eat World was, but like it's weird too because I hear like a lot of people that like come to my store and talk about like, oh yeah, I saw Jimmy Eat World during like Static Prevail's era. Like I went to those shows. They're very supportive, but there's just not enough of them to like prop them up to like the upper echelon of being popular in American culture. So I get why there's a chip on the shoulder because Clarity should have been fucking huge. Like Clarity
Yeah.
should have been big. Like Sunny Day Real Estate kind of like laid the foundations in like the early to mid '90s, and Clarity really drove it home. So they should
Yes.
have been bigger.
I would say perfected it. I would honestly say perfected it. Sunny Day is they're a great fucking band. They have great songs, but there's just Clarity did something different, man. That was just it hit all the right spots. Hit all the right spots.
Oh, that first Sunny Day Real Estate record is so fucking good, dude. In Circles
good.
is like an unreal fucking song. But yeah, they should have been way bigger than they were, and I get like why he has a chip on his shoulder, but it just makes you look like resentful of something that has nothing to do with you. That's something that's out of your control, so far out of your control. But like to be, I don't know, man, be happy. And like my partner for the record store, David, he worked at Guitar Center for many years, and he had many run-ins with Jim Adkins. And same thing, dude. Same thing. Anybody that's ever met Jim Adkins in the wild out here in Arizona says the same thing. Like, yeah, he was fine. Like I told him how much I loved Clarity and Bleed American, and he was just kind of like, eh. It's like, ah, man. But you get that in the interview, right? Like he doesn't give a
Yeah.
fucking shit.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's so dismissive of his own career, and it's just like, I mean, I get it. Like you want people to hear the new stuff. You want people to love the new music. I totally get it. I get that. But to be so dismissive of the earlier work is just it's silly. I mean, that's what
Don't forget where you came from, right?
it's almost like. It's almost like kind of like I don't want to say like grow up, but it is kind of like
just
just
kind of
kind
like
of
grow up. Yes.
it's like just kind of grow like get over it. Like people fucking love you. Like most people don't have this opportunity, and you did something truly great. And for you to be so dismissive of something that was as great as it was back in the '90s and early 2000s is just it's just kind of like fuck off, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It does make you
know,
look
it's
like a
just-
total douchebag.
It does. Because like
It's
people are like
sad.
saying like, oh, I mean, I don't say this, but I mean, like people say this fucking record changed my life. It fucking saved me from killing myself. This and that. I'm sure people tell Jim Atkins that all the fucking time.
He probably doesn't care.
I'm sure he appreciates it, but I highly doubt he like reciprocates that kind of energy back to them.
For sure
He's like,
not.
oh,
No way.
yeah,
No way.
like everything that I've ever in the interview, he did that short-lived podcast. Remember that? Like when COVID was happening,
Yeah.
when everybody was doing a podcast,
And it was
he did it for
boring
like
as fuck.
it only lasted like 2 months.
Yeah, nobody listened because it was awful.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. But who knows? Maybe in real life, like if you were friends with him, he's probably really cool. I don't know. But also, since we're in pop disaster season right now, let's talk about when Jimmy Eat World real quick. Jimmy Eat World were on that tour for a short amount of time, and they halfway through the tour, they're like, "Well, we have a headlining tour in Europe that we're gonna completely quit this tour and go to Europe and do that." And in the Writing in Vans with Boys documentary, which we're gonna get into late in a few weeks, but in that documentary, Mark Hoppus comes. He says like, I can't believe that they just like you're on like the
Yeah.
biggest tour
Gone.
of the year in America, and he's like, I get it, you want to do a headline tour, but this is you're with like the two big bands in the U.S. Like, why would you? This is the biggest tour this summer. Why would you just leave?
Stupid.
Like he just doesn't even like Mark Hoppus didn't get it, and Mark Hoppus is like a pretty level-headed dude. Like he's very fair. He's very fair, and him calling out Jimmy Eat World for doing that, that's like.
Like I get like a
Saying
headlining
something.
tour is always going to be better than any kind of like non-headlining tour. Like you always want to be the closer. I get it. And Europe has always been more like receptive to live music than
It has been,
Americans. Americans are terrible, whereas Europeans are they'll stay for the whole bill and they'll applaud and buy shit, whereas we're terrible over here. But like we're not talking about just like a normal tour, dude. Like this is peak Green Day. This is peak fucking Blink-182. You stupid
Definitely
idiot.
peak Blink, yeah, dude. And I mean, you'll hear it on when you listen to the book. But in the book, Mark spends a chapter talking about the pop disaster tour, and I guess we'll talk about it in more detail on the episode that we do eventually. But yeah, he talks about like the Green Day, all the stuff that happened with Green Day on that. Not all the stuff, but some of the stuff that happened with Green Day and with certain members of the band that were pissed off. Pretty cool. But
he always seemed like the guy that the friendly rivalry that was between Blink and Green Day always seemed fun, except for Trey. Like Trey, I always felt like he was one that took it personal. Whereas like Billy Joe could give two shits and he's just there to have a good time, and Mike's gonna do whatever Billy wants to do anyway. Yeah. But Trey always seemed like,
yeah, kind of like almost jealous to a point.
Yeah,
that at that point in 2002, Green Day were not on top of the world. They were. Blink replaced them as the like the pop punk or the punk guys in the rock world.
They were still like
Green Day were
top
still
of
big,
the world.
of
They
course.
just weren't on tippy top of the world. They
yeah,
were still
yeah,
fucking huge, but not on the tippy top of the world for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get into that later on Pop Disaster Season in more detail. Lucky Denver Mint. Do we have anything else on this one?
Nah, we got a lot to get through, dude. I have so many fucking notes, and it's like we're getting off track on these tangents, but I think they're important tangents. But I have so many notes on this record.
Okay, so let's get into my 2B, my number 2 banger, Table for Glasses, opener.
The opener, okay.
Opener song. I do love this song. I think as an opener, it's such a wild choice. Like, why would you use this really subdued kind of gentle song as the opener to a record? And it's a fairly long song. It's almost 4.5 minutes long. So it doesn't just work as an intro. It's like it's a full fucking song, full-fledged song, a thought-out song. And I love it though. I just love the build. It starts with the synth. The drums come in really they just kind of come in really subtly. The lullaby, like clean picking guitar, like clean guitar picking right there. Soft vocals, and then it just fucking drops. You hear that one bass drum hit, that boom, and then it just gets louder. It builds. It gets louder. It builds. It's just the way this song progresses is absolutely perfect, and it finally just blows up at the end. It blows up. It's huge. It's grand. It's beautiful. It's just a perfectly crafted song, like through and through. I think this sets the tone for the entire fucking record. I wouldn't say it has it all because it doesn't have like, your Bliss or your Lucky Denver Mint, but outside of those songs, every song is based off of Table for Glasses.
I agree. I mean, this is my 8B, but there's not a lot of bands that like go from Static Prevails and then throws like Table for Glasses after that. Like if you're listening sequentially and you think like, okay, the last song on Static Prevails leading into Table for Glasses, how do we transition into the new guard? There's not a lot of bands that can do something like this. This song is fucking wild. Like right off the bat, we get heavy harms. Like we've never heard him do before. We've heard him do some harms.
The harms are crazy good.
Never heard harms like this. Like this is a perfect slow burn. Something like the cymbal, like the cymbal intro. That's Tired of Sex, man. That is like fucking Weezer through and through. And I love that. and it's amazing. And then like the whole thing just builds to like this ending crescendo, like that part, like we get like the counterpoint vocals, and I don't know, it really sets this record up. It shows us right out the gate, here is something different. Here is something that's actually really fucking good, and most of you are probably not going to like it, but I don't give a fuck. And then like that outro, we get that outro, like we got the intro. It decompresses. It's fucking perfect, and it bleeds right into that little drum beat, like he did from that. This song is wild. This song is my AB, really but like it should be higher. But like nostalgia hits, and therefore it's my AB. But this song maybe like a top. This song is a top 10 for sure. Jimmy World.
God, it's so incredible. And also with this record, I think the softer songs are way better than the faster, more punk aggressive songs. I think songs like this, A Sunday, 1223. Tuesday. I think those songs are just
okay. We'll get there.
I think the softer, slower songs, I think they do it's so much better than the faster, more aggressive stuff on this record. Not that anything's really fast or aggressive, but in the context of it all, I think the softer songs are way better. They're just beautiful. They're just fucking beautiful. I fucking love the harms too. I love the harms so much on this.
They're just more difficult to like pull off. Like it's easy to pull off a punk song when you're a punk band. You start off as like a punk rock pop punk band. Super easy. Like who cares, right? Dime a dozen. But like in this like 90s era of emo where we're having all of these crazy different bands like doing their own iteration of what emo should be like stemming from, like we talked about in the rankings episode, I think, with like Rites of Spring and like the East Coast hardcore shit and like the Ian MacKaye, and like they had a fucking, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called Revolution Summer or Summer Revolution or some shit like that, where they wanted to like revamp the entire like East Coast hardcore scene and make it a little bit more inclusive. And I think in doing so, they made it more emo and for the better, because like whatever, like first Bad Brain Records is good, great, but one-dimensional.
Very one-dimensional, yeah.
But anyway, so like this song, I don't know what that had to do with anything, but this song, the cellist here, she wasn't even, I think it was a girl. She wasn't even supposed to be on this song in particular because she was paid and done, and she was done for the day. But like, she kind of just hung around. I'm sure like just like why would you leave, right? You're with musicians, you're with like-minded people. You would just hang
probably
around.
You're probably just hanging out, probably having a beer or smoking some weed. Yeah.
And like she heard this song and she's like, I want to be on this song. And they're like, well, we already paid you. And she's like, I don't give a fuck. I will do this for free, single take. Let's do it. So like what we hear on this, like the cello parts, is single take, her one done. That's it, because she loved it so fucking much. That's so cool.
It's so fucking
fuck out of here. Fucking hell, dude.
But yeah, no, I think this is a crazy song, crazy good song, and going back to what you said, like coming from Static Prevails, and then the next Jimmy World record starts out with this. Like you would think they'd put Blister up front. You put Blister as the first song, as the transition into the new Jimmy World, because it's not quite as heavy as the first two Jimmy World records.
You could,
but I mean, Blister, honestly, sequencing wise, Blister it should have been honestly the first song on this record. But you throw Table for Glasses on here. This should have been mid track.
This is an aggressive opener.
Yeah, it's crazy that they put this as the opener, but I fucking love it. And like I said, I love the slower stuff on this record. I think they just absolutely nailed it. It's perfect. It's a perfect song. It really is. Lyrically, going back to like what we were talking about earlier with Jim, kind of throwaway lyrics. Supposedly he was at an art show in Phoenix and he saw some lady cleaning up tables, and then she was like sweeping the ground with her dress, and then she picked up the dirt from her dress and like put it in some people's glasses or some shit like that. Some crazy fucking weird story like that, which I wouldn't be surprised because people are fucking disgusting. But yeah, I don't know. That's what this song is about. Like there's nothing really deeper than that supposedly. But I think to me, it's just like admiring a girl from afar and just thinking and knowing that like he's never going to get with her. That's kind of what I think of it. That's what I get from the lyrics. But
this was like
supposedly was inspired by that girl.
This was like in an era where Jim and the band and the group, they had like full-time side gigs, and this was like the hobby. and he worked for a magazine company, and so he had like all the old magazines. I guess they were supposed to like tear the covers off and send them back to the distributor. That way they knew that like nobody bought that magazine, but like he would just keep them and read them. And he got into art. He got into art that's not just like music, but he found like beauty in like paintings and other. I don't really give a fuck about art, so I don't really care that much. But various forms of art, I guess is an easy way to say it. And so he's one day going to one of his friends' like dance recitals. Kind of like, remember Cassie and Mojgan used to do the dance thing.
Yeah.
And like we went to a couple of those and like they were cool and stuff and fun, but I don't get it. I don't give a fuck. But he was doing one of those, and before he went inside, he looked across the alley and there was like a server in some capacity cleaning tables. And you're right, like the server was like dusting her hands off into the glassware that was going to eventually probably make it into somebody's mouth. And he thought like that's art. Like that spoke to him in some way. And I don't know if that's like a weird epiphany that he had and like now I'm an Andy Warhol of my generation, or if this is bullshit, because I don't know, dude. I don't know the way people interpret art because I don't get most forms of art. But I don't know. That's what he said. But I kind of like it. I find it cool when inspiration hits in random ways like this. Like it doesn't have to be a sunset or something like obviously meaningful, a funeral or a wedding. Like it's cool when people find like extraordinary things out of ordinary situations. I like that.
Yeah. Same here. I dig it, but in the end, it comes down to just having the lyrics as a placeholder. That's really what it is.
But they're good lyrics.
So,
not just like he's not just saying dumb things, right? He's not just
no,
saying
it's true.
words.
Yeah, he's not saying dumb things.
They match the
There's some
aesthetic
good, like,
of the song.
Some good like poetic shit, but in the end, a lot of it's up to interpretation, and I don't know. It's fine. I'm not gonna talk shit on him.
And the way he says,
Not
asking me if anything.
You got the harms going behind it.
Love that
Oh, it's
fucking
so
line.
good. So good.
Good.
Just the big heavy bass drum kicks. God, it's so good. Love that song. Love it. So what's your 3B, number 3 banger?
Well, we didn't do. I guess I fucked up my 2B, huh? My 3B would be a Sunday or Tuesday.
Wait, then what's
do.
your 2B then?
Well, I wrote two 2Bs, two
Oh,
2Bs.
okay.
Which Sunday on a Sunday, not on a Sunday, just a Sunday.
A Sunday.
Tuesday,
isn't it? Tuesday,
on
isn't it?
Sunday, isn't it? On Tuesday.
On Sunday, isn't it? Oh my god.
Fucking cheeky biscuit. Yeah, Sunday's my 3B.
Fucking, that's my 7B. Let's
Good.
get into this.
Damn, you
Let's
don't
get
like
into
the
it.
good songs. You like the bad songs. I like it.
What are you fucking talking about? Stupid idiot.
Sunday, yeah, dude, this is a fucking beyond banger. We're talking like soft, intimate choruses with like a little bit darker, aggressive verses, and these verses are so fucking good, dude. They're catchy.
Yeah.
They have distinct personality. They are pretty busy overall, but then we get to the chorus and everything just slows down to a halt, and we just get, man, it's all about texture. This record is all about texture, and these choruses are perfectly textured. On a Sunday.
I agree. It starts with the chimes and all that kind of shit, and then it just kind of drops into everything. But yeah, but then once you get into like the transition is like this like electronic drum beat, and he's singing over that and the synth part, and then it just drops back into the full band. Oh, it's so good.
Dude, just
So
excellent fucking build. Such a great drum sound here.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking like the Sound City, and I think it's Van Nuys. Maybe say Burbank earlier.
It wasn't. It was in Van Nuys. Yeah,
it was Van Nuys. But yeah, Pinkerton was fucking partly done here. Like the drum parts in Pinkerton was done here. So like this is it, and it is insane, perfect drum sounds. And as we jump back into the verses here, like the feel of the song is different because the chorus, like same verses, but the energy has shifted because like of the way we're getting back into it, and we're getting like subtle build in the background. And I don't know, man. I think it's fucking unreal.
The way I look at it, it's like the verses have this kind of way of like kind of trudging along, and then it with like palm mutes and shit like that, and then I think it's the pre-chorus that hits where it's like it opens up a little bit more. They're not palm muted it anymore, and then the main chorus, I guess maybe it's a post chorus. I don't even know, but that's when the electronic part comes in, and that's when the electronic part and the synth, and he's singing over that.
Because we get like the first verse and then the chorus, and then like the on a Sunday, and then it's just like a short instrumental thing. And then to start the second verse, he says, "On a Sunday, go once around."
Okay, yeah.
So like we get like a weird build because the first verse is more just like, yeah, it's chuggy and stuff, but and I feel it's more lighthearted and dainty than it is more aggressive in the second verse. I mean, to me, that's what I hear. That's what I believe. That's what I think. And I think that's because of the way they're doing the chorus and the transition out of the first chorus into the second verse.
Nuance, baby. It's about nuance. And this is another cool thing about this record is that it doesn't sound like it's chopped up. Like it doesn't sound like, okay, we did this verse once, we did this chorus once. Let's just like in Pro Tools or whatever program we're using, let's just like copy and paste the parts here and there. Like every verse sounds different than the one before. Every chorus sounds slightly different than the one before it. Like it doesn't sound like they were doing any sort of tape loop or anything like that. It sounds very it just doesn't sound, it sounds not fussed over it's fussed over, but it's not in a bad way, I guess. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't know if it was in the interview or if it was just because he also like Jim and Tom did Zach, Jim and Zach.
Zim and Jack.
Invader Zim. Zim and Jack. Zim.
Yeah.
Fucking hey, dude. Jim and Zach. Stupid names. The most basic of all names, too. Tom, Zach, Jim, Bill,
Rick,
Hank,
or Rich. Wait, no, Rick Burke.
With the CH, because that's cool. Yeah. Anyway, Jim and Zach did an interview where they kind of broke down everything, too. But I remember it was either in the interview or the podcast where he had said that when they recorded Static Prevails, every time they would fuck up, they would just start from the beginning. And Mark was like, "We don't have to do this, dude. We can just dub it or chop it in. Like, no, let's do it. Let's do it from the beginning." So Static Prevails was done differently than Clarity. And in Clarity, they still kind of did that. They still started from the beginning. Like, okay, we fucked up in the middle part or the last part of the chorus. Let's start from the beginning. And Mark was kind of like, "No, we don't have money or time for that. We have to chop this up." But I still think that they had that mindset to it, like, okay, we need to start from the beginning in order to get the perfect take. And I think like that push and pull between Mark and probably like Jim and Tom, starting from the beginning and just like cutting the tape because they wanted to record the tape, of course. And I think that push and pull made for like a perfect record, like made for such a well-crafted record that doesn't sound like they're just chopping things up, even though there are parts where they like deliberately chop things up to make it sound like they were chopping things up.
But what I'm saying is, yeah, there are moments that do sound chopped, but it sounds like every part is recorded differently. It's not like they re-recorded. It's not like they used the same or the same chorus, the same first chorus as the second chorus. It's not like they've used that same take as the second chorus. Like it seems like every part, every section of every song sounds different than the last section.
Yeah, I get it.
So, fucking good, man.
Fucking so
Sunday.
Good.
Lyrically, I think this is about breaking up with somebody after getting back home from tour. You've been touring for a month, a few weeks. Things were and at this time in the 90s, there was no internet like the way that we have the internet now, cell phones, nothing like that. So when you go on tour, like you're on your own. Like you don't talk to anybody for as long as you're on tour. Like you don't talk to people back home. It's like you don't exist at that point. So it's about being away from somebody for a while and then breaking up with them after you get back home from tour. So yeah,
he had said that he wrote this. He like got the idea for this song and like jotted down the notes for this on a drive home from California back to Arizona, because he wanted to get home to see his girlfriend at the time, and like everybody else stayed in California to party and hang out, but he was feeling lonesome, so he came back home. And like you've driven that many times, I've driven that many times. Like there's nothing fucking there from California to Arizona, and all you have is just like the radio and your thoughts. So like I get that shit.
Yeah. And back then you didn't have Spotify or Apple Music.
No, dude, you had
whatever cassettes, or if you were lucky to have a CD player, whatever cassettes or radio, or even back then, like if you're in the middle of the desert, your radio's
There's
not going
no
to pick up any
reception.
signal. There's no reception, no signal.
And then we forget too,
Oh.
right? Because that drive is fine. It's not that big of a deal. But like, imagine this shit in like the '90s when like Caltrans isn't out there repaving the roads. That road was probably fucked, dude. So
Fucked
just
up,
because
yeah.
you have like a cassette doesn't mean that thing's not skipping constantly because every pothole you're fucking hitting.
Or with the CD, yeah.
Good Lord.
Anyway, my number 3. You ready for this one? 12/23/95, baby.
Damn, that's crazy.
Slow jam. A lot of electronics
What is
going
going
on,
on here?
especially with the drums. Love the
is going on
sing-songy, like lullaby thing. The clean guitar picking. I love it. Solid bass line. Back and forth vocals are so good too. I think this song is incredible. And like I said before, I love the slower jams on this record. I think they absolutely fucking nailed it on this record with the slow jams. It's a beautiful song. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, so like
Wish goes.
like the intro of this is them goofing with the drum machine, and the pattern itself is just like a random pattern. It doesn't mean anything. But that guitar noise,
what?
the guitar noise was them throwing the guitar parts backwards, recording it to a different tape, and then playing it back again over the program drums I just talked about. And it just so happened to sound fucking great and match up. And they were like, holy fuck, that was cool, dude. Experimentation, right? Experimentation like at its fucking best. And like this is them experimenting without knowing how to experiment. Like these guys aren't,
That's called experimenting, dude.
but they don't know they're experimenting. They're just dicking around, but they're not trying to experiment. They're just trying to be annoying.
They're not trying to be different, or
They're
they're not
trying
trying
to waste time and waste money is what they're doing. And in doing so, they are experimenting. And I think that's like the best, because like, no, that's not called experimenting, dude. Hold on there, dude. Reel that one in. Because sometimes, especially with like prog bands, let's see where this takes us, right? That's kind of like experimenting. Let's see where this leads. Let's keep that one going. Let's see where that goes. Keep the tape rolling. Let's see where this happens. Like that's kind of like experimenting in a more traditional sense. This is like literally just them being fucking annoying and wasting studio money because fuck it. What else we got to lose? Yeah. And in doing so, they are experimenting. I think that's like the truest form of experimentation. And it's cute and it's fun. And I like that. But also, Jim was playing a fuck ton of Final Fantasy VII during this era. Like during this recording session.
You can hear it.
Well,
actually, this came out.
This
song came out before Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy was like 97 or 98 or some shit.
It wasn't 97. Yeah. This did
99.
come out in 97, huh? Yeah, this did come out in 90. Or no, it came out in 90. Yeah, it did come out in 99.
Yeah. But like these
sessions,
sessions were like 97, 98. Yeah. But he was playing a lot of fucking Final Fantasy VII. He said like this is one of his favorite games. Like go figure.
Greatest game ever made.
Every simp known to fucking mankind says
greatest game ever made. You can't. It is the greatest game ever made.
I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan, so
you are not at all.
But the keyboard parts here are inspired by like the Japanese RPG music from that game. I don't know because I don't play that shit, but I thought that would be fun for simps.
You don't play that hentai shit.
I don't play that fucking hentai shit. I could have got more aggressive with it. The best part of this, but the best part of this song is that bass line that follows the melody, right? The bass line that follows the melody, that ding, 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 that part, that shit's so good.
It is very Final Fantasy. It is very Final Fantasy. A lot of loops. I get it. Fucking good, man. I dig it. I really dig it. And just kind of the way the vocals are layered kind of over each other too. Like the Merry Christmas, babe. And then the next Merry Christmas starts like on kind of the offbeat. So it kind of sounds like he's talking over himself. I love it. I love it vocally. I love the music. It's just like a beautiful song. It really is just a beautiful song. I love it so much. It is a beautiful, beautiful song. God, I love it.
And like lyrically, this is one that has nothing to do with Christmas, even though the title suggests it and he says Merry Christmas. But this is a song that they had melodies to, they had structure to, they wanted to goof off with, and that's what came out of his mouth. Like that is it.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to break down the lyrics in any sense, I think it would be about, leaving a girl hanging, feeling bad about it, That's pretty much it. Yeah, the lyrics are very, very surface level, but that's okay. It's okay.
Merry Christmas.
God, I love this song so much.
Do 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 do.
It also has that kind of like the music from Animal Crossing. I know you didn't play all the Animal Crossings, but the Animal Crossing games have this very kind of like subdued, kind of chill, lo-fi feel to it. And that's what this song is. It's like early kind of lo-fi. I'm sure lo-fi existed before this, but they fucking killed it, the lo-fi feel on this particular song. I love it. I fucking love this song. It's so good.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's good.
So let's get into your what?
My 12B.
That's stupid.
But like, this is my 12B, and this is the last of my Bs where I think this song is perfect, and I love this song. And again, like, when I listen to this song, it's because I really want to get into that bass line. I want to go do 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 do.
Yeah, that bass line is fucking killer.
Do 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 do. And then I want to get into the Merry Christmas part. I'm so fucking excited.
All right, so 4B, you said your 4B already, right?
Well, my 4B was Just Watch the Fireworks.
Oh, so we didn't get into that. Okay, all right. That's my 6B. Let's get into that.
Good.
What do you got?
Just Watch the Fireworks. This one started off way slower in the demos, but ended up much better at a faster tempo. I like the guitars in this. There's always something going on, and usually something different. Or I don't know, just doing something that enhances the melody, but like also has a life of its own. Because it's so easy to play a lead and just to enhance the melody, but then you're just like, okay, that's just like a boring lead part. But like, I think a true good like layering of or a good texture of a lead guitar is something that stands on its own, that's unique, that's fun to listen to, but also enhances the melody. And like the bridge part of this song is literally one of my favorite parts of the entire record.
Yeah, the bridge is really good.
Literally.
This is a long song too. It's a 7-minute song.
Yeah.
And it builds so good. What was that? What
I just can't, dude. It's just hard not to like make fun of the British accent. I don't know if it's just because like it's fun to make fun of it, or it's because like we know like our best friend of the pod here is from Britland, and it's just fun to bully him. I don't know which one of them I like more. Or
cyberbullying is fun. Cyberbullying is fun. I know. I like making fun of accents too. It's fun. But whatever.
I think it's like Britland accent is the most fun, unless I'm like being pretentious and I do like a French accent, you know. But then I don't even make fun. I just go oh pee pee poo poo wee wee. That's it. It's ha ha and then pee pee poo poo wee wee.
Anyway, just watch the fireworks.
The bridge here, like honestly, they just say it out loud over and over, like literally, like top 3 parts of the record for me.
That's good, man.
Because like the drums,
also the way I know, I love that.
Oh, it's so good.
It's very kind of like, it reminds me a lot of like what Travis was doing on Travis Barker was doing on the Plus 44 record on Chapter 13. You know, the ending of Chapter 13, the big drum part. It's very much, it's just, it builds the song, it builds this tension so fucking well. A lot of cool string parts too. Like I normally don't like strings in these types of songs, but the strings work, man. The violins, fucking, or violas, who knows what they are, I don't know. But either one of them, the strings sound great. They sound fucking great. So I think this is a killer song.
No, yeah, this is my 4B. I love it. I love this song. So,
and like I said, it builds and builds and builds. I mean, it's a 7-minute song, so it gets more and more passionate and heavier and aggressive. And then at the very like the last like minute or minute and a half of this song, big power chords. Just like it's this big fucking extravagant thing that's just like not destroying your eardrums, but just like it just takes over everything. Dude, just the dynamics. It's the fucking dynamics of this record and this song. It's incredible.
It's all about like that bell, right? Or that opposite bell curve thing that like starts low, gets high, and goes back to low. And they I don't know, they really put you through the ringer there. And
they really do.
Like the chuggy power chords getting back into like kind of like that drony kind of like ring, that chime, but like into like the melody, just chill daddy.
Daddy Chill.
Daddy
Chill.
Good.
It's a good song, man. That's my 6B. So,
Okay.
Yeah. 4B. We only have a few songs left.
Then we got Clarity, Blister, 10, Your New Aesthetic. Let's just go from the top.
Crush, right?
Crush.
We haven't done
Crush.
Crush yet.
Crush. 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so let's get into this. Let's run through the last of the songs, and then we'll rate the record. We'll what am I trying to say here? We'll wrap it up.
Speak anymore.
I know. We'll wrap it up, give our final thoughts, and rate the record based off of our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So let's run through them and get into it. What do we got? Go.
So like Your New Aesthetic, the third track, that's my 7B.
Okay, that's fine. That's my 11B.
That's my 11B. The OG version of this was on the Fueled by Ramen EP.
Yeah.
I swear I sent you some of these.
You did send me the new aesthetic one.
Okay.
Yeah, you did send me this one for sure. But
Definitely,
the other, I don't remember the other ones.
Definitely a different feel to it. I love the build up and tension throughout this, like the first half of the song, and the second half gets to open up a little bit more and play around and just it gets to sound bigger. This is a more straightforward rock song like on Static, but we just get some fucking rad parts, man. Like the back and forth in the pre-chorus, the strange little like aggro guitar thing that's like building in the. Dude, this fucking song rips. 7B though.
But also, it's just like with this song, I don't like songs that start out with like palm muted guitar and just the vocalist. I've never been a fan of that. I don't like when bands do it. So that automatically is going to knock it down lower on my banger list.
Lowering the standards.
God damn, it's good. It's one of the. I would say this song and Blister are the closest you get to Static Prevails, with that post-hardcore emo kind of thing.
See,
Kind of the wailing guitars and the transitions. It's so good. It's so good.
Good.
Big
Going
tom
down.
hits on that Zick is doing. Zach is doing.
Dang.
Jesus.
That's racist.
Well, that's what
Crush. Crush is 6 track. My 8B.
My 8B as well.
Look at that. There's another rock
Just
song.
Mid-tier.
Yeah. This is also more off of like Static. Good sounding chickas out of this one. The song is a fucking banger. This is like the best kind of like post-hardcore song that they've done, just like in a strictly post-hardcore sense.
I feel like this is like the most pop punk sounding song they've ever done up to this point, with like the palm mutes and the verses and everything like that. It's very, very, very pop punk. But then I also love the kind of thrashy chug thing that transitions into the chorus. Like it's fucking great.
And the way he
So
yells
good.
and falling. Fucking hell.
Some good guitar leads.
Dude,
Great
Jim's
fucking
got a
song.
good wail, man. Jim's got a good wail.
He does. Absolutely.
10,
Absolutely.
8th track, 10, my 11B.
10 is my 12B.
Okay,
12B.
that's fine. Fun song.
So what do you got on this one?
A lot of textures, a lot of harms, a lot of layers. I like these kind of like drony clarity songs because they kind of just dig in and let you enjoy the ride. They use a drum loop for most of the song, and then Zach comes in on top of that loop during the choruses and the bridges, which is ambitious, right? For a band that's never done anything like this before. Like why like double track drums like that? Like why?
Mm-hmm.
Because we can.
I like the kind of offbeat on the drum too. It's like doom ga doom ga doom doom ga. It's like it's not your traditional beat. It's a little bit off, but it gives the song so much character, and it really just shows like how important a drummer is to a fucking band. Like the beat and the drum to a song dictates the song like entirely. It can change the entire feel of a song, and people don't give drummers enough credit for that, honestly, and songwriters enough credit for the actual
most
beat.
drummers
Because the
are
beat,
fucking dumb, dude. That's why.
they're fucking dumb, dude. But
They're stupid.
but one thing that they do so great on this record is the clean picking, the clean guitar picking on this one. It's just they're kind of doing more of the same we hear on the rest of the record, so it's a little bit lower of a B for me, but it's still fucking killer. It's still so fucking good. And the chorus hits super hard with like the big soaring kind of feel to it. The harms are fucking great. Great build in the song. Killer. Absolutely killer.
Good. I want to go. So like, if we're not, I don't want to go sequentially. I want to hit Clarity and then end on Blister. So Clarity, 12 song. It's my 10B. This is the only other song that's an open E tuning other than For me, this is Heaven. This is the song they named after the record because, as Jim said, and this is such a sick fucking quote, dude. He said, we started to sound, like when they wrote the song, he said, we started to sound like our own band instead of our record collections. It's like, damn, that's fucking cool, dude. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
That
Yeah,
cool?
right. Like you find like this is your identity. You know what I mean?
That's so
like,
cool.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. I've never, Okay.
We started to sound like our own band instead of our record collections, and like, there's nothing wrong with sounding like your record, like wearing your influence on your sleeve. Like, we love that when bands do that. But for him to say, like, damn, this is the song. Like, that's why we named the album after the songs, because this is the song that we thought sounded finally like what we wanted to achieve as like musicians, our goal, and that's fucking dope. Great
but
bass line.
It's a lower tier B anyway. But
yeah, for sure.
For what that's worth. What that's worth.
But like the fact that this is one of the first songs that they did and they wrote and they finished and they thought was representative of their sound. That means something. But the bass is like the squirreliest. The bass line is the bass noodling here is the squirreliest on the entire record, like for sure.
Is it though? I don't really.
For sure.
I don't recall the bass that much.
And then I mean, we also needed.
But I love the guitar playing too, like the like the low and the high, just the low and the high that they really perfected on Bleed American. They're doing a lot on this song too, which I love.
It's a faster song, so we're getting like and the bass like able to kind of like let loose finally and do his own thing. But you need a breather between Blister and Goodbye Sky Harbor. Like, you need something like this, something a little more like, okay, I can take a breath before you fuck me up with Sky Harbor. So I get it.
All right, so number 5, or I'm sorry, the last song we haven't talked about,
is my
number 5. It's my 5B as well.
Dude, Blister, like Blister, fuck off. Blister is this is a number 1B had it not been for like 4 of my other Bs. This is a perfect song. This is a beyond.
That kind of goes without saying, right?
But like, this is easily a 1B. Like, easily a 1B. This is fucking hell, dude. This song is so good because I don't want to just because it's a 5B, I don't want to like diminish its value because it's a 5B. Like, this is 1B material through and through.
It really is. Tom Linton, the guitarist, this is the only song he sings lead vocals on. Obviously, he did all the lead vocals on the first Jimmy World record, did half the songs off Static Prevails, but this is the only song he gets on this one. And I think he only sings one other song in the rest of their discography after this, and I think it was off of...
It's like late.
It was off Damage. It was like off Damage or something like Damages. But yeah, no, Blister is a fucking incredible song. It has this like kind of... guitar-wise, it has this kind of like post-hardcore post-hardcore pop-punk thing going on that's just that bandit. You know what I'm talking about? Like the low and the high kind of thing, but faster. That's a very like... Right, like it's a very post-hardcore.
Well, and we start off with just like the tone, right, of the guitar, that and then and
the chorus though, you know, everything could just kind of the chorus blows up vocally, but like everything else is very subdued. Guitars, bass, drums are very kind of in the background. But then Tom's vocals are up front. And he's like, how long would it take me to walk across the United States? And then the pause, all alone. Like, just you got to have that pause. Oh, it's so good. That's so fucking good.
That's my favorite line of the entire record. Like, how long would it take me to walk across the United States all alone?
I would say it's probably... Wild. I would say that line is the catchiest part on this whole record.
Wild.
The catchiest line on the whole record is when Tom says that.
And he says it like 3 different times. He says it like 3 different ways. And like the last time he says it, because the part after that, to make you feel like I'm alive. And the last alive that he says is so aggressive. Like, he's like shrieking, preaching. He's like at his wit's end saying it. And like, I don't know, man. Like that bridge part where it sets up the sheer loneliness,
just
right?
The clean guitar and him singing over the clean guitar.
How long would it take me? It's so sad, dude. It's so fucking emo. It's so tragic.
It is. Oh, I love it. This song is so fucking good.
And just talk about like the quiets and louds, the highs and lows, the diversity in this song alone. The chorus versus the verses is just fucking it. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why this song is like 1B material. Like, it really, really fucking is.
I know. I did want to rank this one higher, but Like I said, I'm a sucker for the softer stuff on this record. But also, like getting back to the chorus in the song, as the chorus progresses, Jim starts to do these like crazy harms with them, or like background, not even harms really, but just more like background vocals, and they're almost like fighting each other. It sounds like for like the front, being like the frontman of the band or something like
It's
that.
when the world caves in part happens.
Yeah, yeah.
And they start both
And
like just yelling.
but Jim is doing this thing like that's a little bit off from Tom, so they're both like yelling, but different things and off time from each other. I fucking love it. Fucking love it. God, it's such a good
And that
song.
whole part where he's like, "Don't try to stop me when the world caves in, 'cause I'm falling fast into this pit." Fucking hell, dude, this song's so good.
It's incredible. It's an incredible song. Incredible song.
Okay.
All right, so let's wrap it up. Give our final thoughts. I'll rate the record, like I said, based off of our world famous 3-point rating system. So what do you got? Go.
Emo existed before this. It existed after this. This isn't cutting edge. This isn't something that is a landmark. I mean, it is a landmark. This isn't something that is like the greatest of all time. It is something that is hugely influential. That's hugely important. And again, like we talk about, like I think Righteous Spring is probably like the beginning of like the emo phase as we know it here. And
In this era of
from
third
there,
wave emo.
yeah, and that's like 80s. I said late 80s. From there, like everything has spawned because that's like hardcore, but like emo. And then we get into like, like the early 90s of emo, like Drive Like GU and stuff like that, and Feel and fucking Jawbox. So like this is something that's different, but like it's at the same time it is different. And like I'm a big American football guy. Like I like that Midwestern type shit sound, and that also came out in '99, if not like late '90s. And like I love the Get Up Kids, so that's a different type of emo. But like this is just something different. This is something from a band that just. I think what I really love about this is it's from a bunch of guys that like. Just a bunch of losers, man. Like just a bunch of losers that like. We're going to go back to Arizona, and like, who gives a fuck about Arizona? Even still to this day, like, who gives a shit about Arizona? And we have this conversation a lot just because, like, I now own a business in Arizona, and I still think that, like, man, who gives a fuck about this scene? The scene is non-existent here. This is a Passover state at best, at fucking best. That's why the Bouncing Souls are playing here on a Tuesday, right? We're going to
Tuesday, isn't it, bruv?
On fucking Tuesday, and it
Fucking Tuesday, isn't it?
Fucking Thursday or Friday. Those don't sound as fun as Tuesday. That's why bands play here on like Tuesdays, Wednesdays, because they're saving their best stuff for Fridays or Saturdays over in LA.
Yeah.
We're a Passover state. This is a nobody state. This is nothing. And Jimmy and Earl barely crawled out of here. Like barely fucking crawled out of here. And they're beloved here. And they hate it. And everybody hates it here. And I get it. This is a godforsaken place. But I like it here. I like it here.
I like visiting when I go out there.
Yeah.
We always have a good time.
If I grew up here, I would fucking hate it.
You would leave, yeah.
Fucking shit, I would leave in a heartbeat. But I grew up in a nice place, and I loved Southern California, and I'm happy living here. But I'm not going to retire here. I want to move like Arkansas or some shit, or like Montana, somewhere fucking cool and exotic where I can have a big piece of land and my neighbor's half a mile away, so I don't talk to nobody. But anyway, clarity,
Grumpy old man.
Clarity hits because of like texture and like the math rock inspiration of like the Midwestern emo sound. That's one thing, but Clarity did something a little bit different. Did something I think that like, I don't know, man. Did something that like somebody in real estate started, because like Diary was a killer fucking record, but it didn't quite have like the texture. It was still trying to be like Seattle, like grunge. Like that was still like Sunny Day Real Estate, their first record.
Yeah. There wasn't enough experimentation.
There just wasn't.
It was very. It's a lot more straightforward.
It was still like emo. It was still Clarity, but it was just too much of something else. Clarity was its own thing, and I don't know if man, this is like top 3 emo records of all time, if not the best. This is wild stuffs, and it's crazy because like the lyrics don't mean anything. Like we don't give a fuck about the lyrics because That's not what we're listening at here. That's not.
Yeah.
This is like the proggiest that emo's ever been. That's what it is. This is the proggiest emo's ever been.
It's all about the vibe too, baby. It's all
about the vibe,
vibe,
baby. It's all about the V, son. Those are all my, I don't know, those are gang signs and stuff that I was doing. Obviously, this is a 3 out of a 3.
Bitches gay sign.
But this is not just a 3 out of a 3. This is like for me, this is up there with like Pinkerton. This is like one of my favorite records of all time. This is something that probably tonight I'm going to listen to with headphones. I don't listen to headphones that often, and they were in before this record. We did this record this week. They were just sitting in the back of my car in a little crate that I just throw other shit in. But I pull the headphones out very rarely for specific albums, and this is one of them. This is one that I listen to, and I get lost in my books, Ty. I get lost in my books. This is one of them.
Okay.
If you know,
so
you
what
know.
would you rate it? What would you rate it?
I mean, a 3 seems too easy. This is something bigger, better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? So a 3? You would rate it a 3?
I do 3.5.
Doesn't exist. Max is out at 3. Max is out at 3. We're not playing this game. We're not playing this game.
Hey,
Max is out at 3.
No restriction. I didn't know there were restrictions on this podcast.
There aren't. There are no restrictions. But you can't go above a 3. No restrictions.
But like, it's so fucking good. It's for sure a 3. But like, it's so fucking good.
It is.
This is like helping to define like what got me into like my formative years of getting into music a lot of it is because of Clarity. Like this is like the Bible of what like would get me into more and more music is like Clarity. Clarity is like the Bible.
Okay. That's fair. I get it. I totally get it.
And that's strictly that. I don't think it's like the Bible. It's just like my personal nostalgic connection with this record. Like this is what did it, dude. It was like Eruption because my mom loved Van Halen, and so I listened to a lot of fucking Van Halen. I was like, dude, I want to fucking do that. And then it was like Clarity. Fucking hell.
All right.
Shit's too good.
So you gave it a perfect 3 out of 3. This record, I think they really meshed the post-hardcore, the emo, a lot of electronic stuff here, a lot of atmosphere. Like you said, this is like almost like the prog rock of the emo genre, post-hardcore genre. And they fucking they did it they did it perfectly. Honestly, they did it perfectly. They didn't give a fuck at this point. They had been kind of screwed over by Capitol Records. They had a shit ton of money to spend. Mark Trombino, just the tone master. Honestly, the tone fucking master of this era. He was the tone master, and he got the just incredible things out of this band, tonally, emotionally, just everything about this record is just fucking incredible in every which way. I love the electronic moments of this record. I love the more subdued moments. I think they absolutely fucking nailed it. And I feel like this record is one of those albums that laid the groundwork for modern lo-fi music. And lo-fi music has been very popular over the last 10, 15 years. And this honestly really, really laid the groundwork for that. I truly, truly believe it. And I do love me some lo-fi. So
It's been around for a long fucking time, but
I know, but I feel like as like a more popular genre, it's only been like the last 10 or 15 years.
I feel like in the 90s, it transitioned from being lo-fi to indie. Because I think now we think lo-fi and we think kind of indie music, whereas like lo-fi.
I look at lo-fi as more like electronic based rather than anything kind of with guitars and like a bass guitar or guitars or acoustic drums or anything like that. I think I view lo-fi more as synth and electronic beats. That's how I view lo-fi, modern lo-fi.
Because I think like pre-90s, like REM, right? Like REM is like super famous for getting popular through like college radio, just playing their songs on college radio and getting popular through there. And then like writing Losing My Religion and shit like that and becoming infamously popular. But like that is a form of lo-fi because their early stuff does sound lo-fi, but that's still kind of like transitioning into like lo-fi indie because lo-fi has been around since the fucking 60s.
No, it has. It's been around forever. But I guess I'm referring more to like modern lo-fi, where it's more electronic based, and there's a lot of electronic stuff on here.
And if we really want to talk lo-fi, like Smiley Smile, Baby Boy, Smiley Smile, and,
Okay,
and Wild Honey,
I know,
Beach
I
Boys.
know.
Smiley Smile is like one of the best lo-fi records of all time.
Well, it's
My
a great
favorite
record.
Beach Boy record.
Oh yeah, it's fine. It's a good record. It is a good record. But in the end, yeah, Clarity, Jimmy Eat World. I think this is a truly incredible record. It inspired so many bands after the fact, and it's a shame that Jimmy Eat World don't get the recognition, the admiration that they deserve. Because yeah, this record is truly incredible, and it's perfect.
Welcome to the '90s, right? Though, like how many bands we talk about in the '90s that didn't get the recognition they deserved because it was the '90s. Like nobody gave a fuck about music unless it was like a pop centric radio hit.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So yeah, perfect 3 out of 3. I don't do that often, but yeah, it's a perfect album. So.
Even like talking about like Nirvana and shit too. Like that's all that fucking poser wanted. Kurt Cobain just, I want to be a pop superstar, live large, big house, 5 cars.
That's what that fucking poser wanted.
Yeah, dude, that's all he wanted. And then like, cause he's a poser, he wanted to be a pop star, and then got it, and then complained about it. Whatever.
It's the way she goes. That's the way she goes. All right.
3
Well, thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify,
Like
Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. You're fucking Wolverine over here. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that subscribe button. And that's it. That's all.